All right, guys. So, just want to point out a couple of things. You guys are going to get, if you get just the kits, you've probably already seen this already, but you're going to get the two wing halves. Obviously, it's not symmetrical. The flatter part is the bottom, right? And you'll see in the manual, that's where the spar is going to get cut into. It's actually from the bottom. Other thing is these elevons. So there's a this angled portion here indicates that this is the top, the slightly longer of the two, and that way the elevon can pivot on the wing since these wing cores are cut straight. Other thing you're just going to get, so these are pretty beefy. These are the control rods. You also have control horn. You've got some mounts. It's amazing that this all comes with a kit, so because this is probably a couple of bucks at least. Anyways, so this is going to connect these control rods to the control horns. There's also, they're sort of old school, right? There's some staples that'll get in there to guide those control rods. Also coroplast winglets to put on the end. You will need these in order to keep it from waggling a bunch. So anyways, let's see here. Yeah, so microcam mount. This one's shitty. Apologize, guys. It should fit in right about there. Right, obviously this is going to get cut in. Anyways, looking at the wing profiles, seems to be close enough, so you won't get any sort of... You might get a little bit of material on the top showing, but no big deal. All right. Let's see. For reference, this bar is going to be on the bottom again. That's about where it's going to go. It's going to go straight up and down. If you add this camera there, all right, so it's probably somewhere around here is where the battery is going to go. Because this control rod and control horn needs to be perpendicular, they don't always do this. Some people put them in vertically. I don't like that too much. It's doable, it works, but my preference is going to be orienting the servo like this, so that way it's a straight line to the control horn. There's no sort of bending happening on the control horn, shit like that. So anyways, that's going to be my configuration. Obviously, you can have your motor back here. This is a 6-inch prop. So I think the highest they recommend is 5, but just in case one of us wants to do a 6-inch for whatever reason, we may have to notch this in a little bit if you're doing 6-inch. So this propeller could end up cutting into the material, and you just put a little 1/4 inch on either side, should be fine. Get those elevons reasonably close, and then that puts, for me, then that would put the servo somewhere around there, where it needs to get cut in just enough so that way this is flat with the top of the wing, or close enough. And then servo cable is going to come across, and then usually they just put a slit here, right, between the battery and where that spar is at. Obviously don't do it really close to the spar if you can avoid it. So if my servo's there, think of this being even on both sides, right? This is my HD0 VTX. This needs to go somewhere, I don't know. Might actually be some room right here, now that I think about it, depending on where this battery is. So you guys just have to play around with it. I'll help you out, no big deal. Oh, LEDs, the other thing is, I do recommend getting your main electronics figured out first before you incorporate the LEDs. Think about how you're going to get wiring, right? You can go, one thing that we can do is after you laminate, which is what I'm going to do, I'm just going to put, rub this down, sand it a little bit, 3M90 to make it adhesive, and then I'm going to laminate with a thicker laminating material that I've got a giant roll, so I'll give you guys as much as you need. Laminate that first after putting the spar in, and then I'm going to start cutting. And things like these LEDs, thankfully this is pretty thin, I'll figure that out after I've got my main electronics all done, keeping in mind that I need to route the LEDs, right? So this will be on top of the laminate, and then I'm going to laminate another strip over it. I'll probably do a tiny little divot for the wiring that'll connect this piece to this other longer piece that I'm going to put down on both sides. Again, here's where all your receivers and other stuff can be. You can put the receiver out here, right? Obviously you'll have another servo, but receiver can be outside that little pocket. We'll see, there might be enough space to put the EIC sideways. So you don't have to bury electronics. You do want to try and clean up the airflow as best as possible though by doing a little bit. Keep in mind that if you cut too deep, you can end up cutting through this. And that can make the wing really weak there. So that's it. Oh yeah, I got a nanomat as well. Yeah, so I'll figure that out. Cheers, dudes.